There are 7 simple abilities that every healthy person over the age of 70 should still be able to do. Surprisingly, most people can't do all of them, and many don't even realize which ones they've already started losing. So, wherever you're sitting right now, I want you to check them with me. Because if you can still do these 7 everyday tasks, I want you to understand something important. You're probably aging better than the majority of people your age. And that isn't just because you were lucky or blessed with great genetics. By the time we're finished, you'll know exactly how you're doing, which areas are still strong, and which ones deserve a little attention. No pressure, no scores, just an honest look at where you are today. Before we begin, let me briefly introduce myself. I'm Dr. Richard Ben, and I've devoted my career to caring for adults in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. If there's one lesson I've learned after all these years, it's this. Growing older does not automatically mean growing weaker. Aging isn't controlled entirely by luck or your family history. Much of it depends on a handful of simple things you can measure yourself and improve regardless of your age. So instead of talking about healthy aging in theory, let's put it into practice. We'll go through 7 important signs together, one by one. If you can do them, that's wonderful. If you struggle with 1 or 2, that's perfectly okay too. There's no judgment here. We're simply finding out where you stand today. Number 7. Can you stand up without using your hands? Let's begin with something you can test immediately. Here's the question. Can you stand up from a chair without pushing with your hands? If you're sitting in a sturdy chair right now, try it with me. Cross your arms over your chest. Now use only your legs to stand completely upright. Then slowly sit back down without grabbing the armrests, your knees, or anything else for support. Go ahead, I'll wait. You might wonder why such a simple movement matters so much. The answer is that this one action reveals a tremendous amount about the strength of your legs and hips. Your legs are the foundation of your independence. They're what help you get out of bed in the morning, stand up from the sofa, climb stairs, get into the car, work in the garden, and safely reach the bathroom during the night. When physicians want to know how well an older adult is functioning, we don't always need expensive equipment. Sometimes we simply watch them rise from a chair. That movement alone tells us a great deal about how well the body is aging. If you stood up smoothly without rocking forward or using your hands, that's excellent news. It tells me your lower body is still strong, and that strength greatly lowers your risk of one of the biggest dangers later in life, a serious fall. But if you needed to push with your hands, don't let that discourage you. Many people lose leg strength simply because they spend more time sitting than moving. The encouraging part is that leg strength is one of the easiest things to rebuild. Start with something small. Several times each day, practice standing up and sitting back down from your chair. Even if you need your hands in the beginning, that's perfectly fine. Practice during television commercials. Practice before meals. Aim for about 10 repetitions throughout the day. Within just a few weeks, you may notice a remarkable improvement. Muscles respond whenever we challenge them, even in our 80s or 90s. I've seen patients well into their late 80s go from needing both hands and counting to 3 before standing, to rising comfortably with little effort after only a few weeks of practice. The human body is far more capable of recovering than most people believe. Now let's move on to the next sign. This one is often ignored, yet it quietly determines whether you stay independent or whether one unexpected moment changes everything. Let's test it together. Sign number 6. Can you balance on one leg? Our next marker is balance. Before we begin, I want you to think about safety first. Stand beside something sturdy, a kitchen counter, a heavy table, or the back of a strong chair. Choose something you can grab immediately if needed. Don't try this in the middle of an empty room. And if you don't feel steady today, simply watch for now and try another time. There's absolutely no shame in being cautious. Ready? Stand tall with one hand close to your support. Lift one foot just a few inches off the floor. Now see if you can hold that position for around 10 seconds. Afterward, switch legs and repeat. How did it feel? Were you steady? Did you wobble a little? No matter what happened, you've learned something valuable. Balance tends to disappear quietly. It doesn't usually hurt. It doesn't announce itself. Little by little, we become less stable until one day a wet floor, loose rug, or uneven sidewalk catches us by surprise. And unfortunately, one fall can change an older person's life in a matter of seconds. That's why balance is something I pay close attention to with every patient I care for. If you manage to stay balanced for 10 seconds on each side, that's an excellent sign. Your body is still making hundreds of tiny adjustments every moment to keep you upright and safe. If you found yourself wobbling or couldn't hold the position very long, don't think of that as failure. Think of it as an opportunity. Balance improves surprisingly quickly with regular practice. In fact, it's one of the fastest skills to regain. Here's what I recommend. Several times each day, while holding onto your counter or chair, practice standing on one foot for a few seconds. Brushing your teeth is a perfect time to do it. As the days pass, slowly increase the amount of time you balance. Your nervous system learns through repetition. You are not stuck where you are today. Most importantly, remember this. Improving your balance isn't really about balancing. It's about protecting your freedom. It's about continuing to live in your own home, move confidently, and enjoy your independence for as many years as possible. And now we're ready for sign number 5, one that surprises almost everyone because it has very little to do with what people expect, yet it reveals an incredible amount about the health of your entire body. Number 5, the strength of your grip. Now we come to number 5, and this one surprises almost everyone. It has nothing to do with running, lifting heavy weights, or spending hours in the gym. Instead, it's about something much simpler, the strength of your hands. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Can you still open a tightly sealed jar on your own? Can you carry grocery bags from the car into the house without having to stop halfway? At first glance, those tasks may not seem very important. But here's what decades of medical research have taught us. The strength of your grip is one of the clearest indicators of your overall physical health. In fact, studies have repeatedly shown that strong hands often reflect a strong body. Grip strength is closely connected to the condition of your muscles, your bones, your mobility, and even your heart. Think of it like checking one important part of a machine to understand how the entire machine is functioning. That's why doctors pay far more attention to grip strength than most people realize. Here's an easy way to test yourself. Pick up a jar with a firmly tightened lid, maybe pasta sauce, peanut butter, or pickles. See if you can twist it open comfortably. Or simply make a tight fist and squeeze as firmly as you can for several seconds. Pay attention to how your hands feel. Do they feel strong and confident, or do they become tired very quickly? If your grip still feels powerful, that's an excellent sign. It usually means you've preserved valuable muscle throughout your body. And maintaining muscle is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself as you grow older. If your hands aren't as strong as they once were, don't worry. Grip strength is one of the easiest things to improve. Keep a soft rubber ball beside your favorite chair. Whenever you're watching television or relaxing, squeeze it several times with each hand. Even a rolled-up towel or sock works well. Whenever possible, carry your own grocery bags instead of asking someone else to do it. Open jars yourself whenever it's safe. Each small challenge reminds your muscles that they're still needed, and your body responds. There's something else I'd like you to remember. Many family members help because they love us. A son may insist on carrying every shopping bag. A daughter may rush to open every difficult lid. Their kindness comes from love. But if someone does every physical task for you, little by little, your body loses the reason to stay strong. Whenever you safely can, smile and simply say, "Thank you, but I'd like to do this myself." Those small moments help preserve your independence. Hashtag number 4, the way you walk. Now let's talk about something you probably do every single day without giving it a second thought: walking. But this isn't just about whether you can walk, it's about how you walk. Ask yourself this: can you walk at a comfortable, steady pace without feeling exhausted? If you had to cross a parking lot or catch up with someone ahead of you, could you do it without stopping to catch your breath? In geriatric medicine, we often call walking speed the 6th vital sign. Most people know the traditional vital signs: blood pressure, heart rate, breathing, and temperature. But researchers have discovered that walking speed tells us just as much about a person's overall health. Again and again, studies have found the same pattern. Older adults who continue walking at a comfortable, steady pace tend to remain healthier, live longer, and maintain their independence far better than those whose walking becomes noticeably slower. Why? Because walking reflects the health of several body systems all at once. It tells us about your heart, your lungs, your muscles, your joints, your balance, even your confidence. Your walk is almost like a report card for your entire body. Here's a simple way to check yourself. The next time you walk through your neighborhood, your hallway, or even across your living room, notice 2 things. First, your breathing. Can you keep a normal pace while still carrying on a conversation? Or do you become short of breath after only a short distance? Second, notice your steps. Do they feel smooth and confident? Or have you begun shuffling your feet and constantly looking down at the ground? If you're able to walk comfortably while talking, that's a wonderful sign. It tells us your heart and lungs are still serving you well. If you've noticed yourself slowing down, becoming winded sooner, or taking shorter, less confident steps, don't ignore it. But don't lose hope either. Walking is one of the most effective forms of medicine available. The wonderful part is that it's completely free. You don't need expensive equipment, you don't need a gym membership, you simply need to move. Start wherever you are. 5 minutes each day is enough to begin. Walk to the mailbox. Walk around your block. Walk through your home several times if the weather keeps you indoors. If you become tired, slow your pace. Rest briefly. Then continue. Every step sends your body a powerful message. I'm still using you. And your body responds remarkably well to that message. If knee pain or poor weather keeps you inside, don't worry. March gently in place while holding onto a sturdy counter. Walk from one end of your hallway to the other several times. Movement is what matters, not where it happens. One final thought. If walking causes significant shortness of breath, chest discomfort, or unusual pressure, please don't ignore it. Talk with your healthcare provider. Some problems deserve prompt attention, and it's always better to investigate than to wonder. Now we've reached number 3. This next sign influences nearly every other one we've discussed. Most people underestimate its importance, yet it quietly affects your strength, your memory, your energy, and even your mood. Let's talk about something every healthy body depends on: a truly restful night's sleep. Sign number 3, the power of restful sleep. Now we've arrived at number 3, and this is one that many people overlook, yet it quietly influences almost everything else we've talked about: your energy, your strength, your mood, your memory. It all begins with one simple question. Are you getting the kind of sleep that leaves you feeling refreshed when you wake up? Before you answer, let me reassure you about something. As we grow older, our sleeping patterns naturally change. Many adults in their 70s wake once or twice during the night. They often go to bed earlier and wake up earlier than they did years ago. They may also sleep a little more lightly. All of that can be perfectly normal. The goal isn't to sleep like you did when you were 25. The real question is whether your sleep restores you. Do you wake up feeling reasonably rested and ready for the day? Because that's exactly what healthy sleep is designed to do. While you're asleep, your body is incredibly busy. It repairs muscles that worked all day. It helps regulate your heart and blood pressure. It reduces inflammation throughout the body, and your brain performs one of its most remarkable jobs. It processes memories, clears away waste products, and prepares itself for another day of learning and thinking. That's why even one poor night of sleep can leave you feeling forgetful, impatient, and exhausted. On the other hand, consistent, restful sleep protects your heart, supports your immune system, improves your memory, and helps you stay emotionally balanced. At this stage of life, good sleep isn't simply a comfort. It's one of the best medicines you can give yourself. So here's your personal check. On most mornings, do you wake feeling refreshed? Or do you climb out of bed still feeling tired, even after spending many hours there? If your sleep generally leaves you feeling rested, that's wonderful. Protect that habit. Treat it as one of the most valuable parts of your daily routine. If your nights have become restless, if you lie awake for hours, wake repeatedly, or find yourself staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning, don't assume that's simply something you have to live with. Many sleep problems improve through simple lifestyle changes. Try going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time every day. Get outside for a little morning sunlight soon after you wake up. Natural light helps reset your body's internal clock. Limit caffeine later in the afternoon. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. And during the last 30 minutes before bedtime, choose something relaxing instead of staring at a bright television or phone screen. One more thing deserves mentioning. If you snore loudly, wake up gasping for air, or still feel completely exhausted after a full night's sleep, please speak with your healthcare provider. Sometimes there's an underlying condition, such as sleep apnea, that can be treated very effectively. Never underestimate the value of quality rest. It gives your body the opportunity to repair itself every single night. Now let's move to number 2. This is the ability people tell me they fear losing more than almost anything else. Fortunately, there's encouraging news I want to share. Sign number 2, keeping your mind sharp and curious. Our second sign has nothing to do with muscles or balance. It's about your brain, your memory, your ability to think, learn, and stay engaged with life. Let me ask you a few questions. Can you comfortably follow conversations? Do you usually remember the names of people you've recently met? Most importantly, are you still learning new things? Maybe you've learned a new recipe, discovered how to use a new phone feature, played a new card game, started a hobby you've never tried before, or learned how to video chat with your grandchildren. Before we continue, I want to ease a worry that I hear almost every day. Many people become frightened when they occasionally forget where they left their glasses, or walk into a room and suddenly forget why they went there. Please understand, that happens to people of every age. Busy people in their 40s and 50s experience those moments too. Occasional forgetfulness is a normal part of life. It's not the best measure of brain health. What matters much more is something deeper. Are you still curious? Do you stay interested in the world around you? Are you continuing to challenge your mind? For many years, people believed that once we reached old age, the brain could no longer change. They believed learning stopped. Fortunately, we now know that simply isn't true. Modern research has shown that the brain continues creating new connections throughout life. Every time you learn something new, every time you solve a problem, every time you challenge yourself, your brain responds by becoming stronger. In many ways, the brain behaves just like a muscle. The more you use it, the healthier it remains. I remember one remarkable patient who decided to learn piano at the age of 79. She had never played a single note before. 2 years later, her family told me she seemed mentally sharper than she had been in years. That wasn't magic. It was her brain responding exactly as healthy brains are designed to respond. So how do you evaluate yourself? It's actually very simple. Ask yourself one question. During the past month, have I learned anything new? If the answer is yes, wonderful. Keep going. If the answer is no, don't criticize yourself. Simply see it as an invitation to begin again. Read something that makes you think. Do crossword puzzles. Play chess or cards. Listen to educational programs. Take a class. Have meaningful conversations with people who challenge your ideas. A sharp mind doesn't stay sharp by accident. It stays sharp because it continues being used. There's another beautiful benefit. Nearly everything that strengthens the brain also strengthens your relationships. Talking with friends, learning in groups, playing games together, sharing ideas, remaining connected to other people. That combination nourishes both the mind and the heart. And if you've noticed yourself withdrawing, if you've stopped trying new things because they seem difficult, please don't be hard on yourself. Instead, take one small step. Learn one new skill this week, one new recipe, one new word, one new song, one new technology. Ask someone to teach you something, because the moment we stop learning, the mind begins to slow down. The wonderful truth is that it can become active again at almost any age. It is never too late. Now we've reached the final sign. You won't measure this one with a stopwatch. You won't test it with a chair, a jar, or a balance exercise. Yet after all my years caring for older adults, I found that this one predicts healthy aging more than any other. Let's talk about the one thing that truly gives life its deepest strength. Number 1. A life filled with purpose and meaningful connections. We finally reached the last sign. Unlike the others, you won't measure this one with a chair, a stopwatch, or a simple physical test. It's quieter, less obvious. Yet after spending decades caring for older adults, I can honestly say this one has taught me more about healthy aging than almost anything else. Here's the question. Do you wake up each morning with a reason to begin the day? And do you have someone who truly knows you? Someone you can talk with? Someone who would notice if they didn't hear from you? Take a moment to think about that. Do you have something that gives your life purpose? Maybe it's taking care of your garden, looking after a grandchild, volunteering in your community, helping a neighbor, looking forward to breakfast with a friend. Or perhaps it's simply knowing that someone depends on your smile, your wisdom, or your presence. Over the years, I've cared for many older adults with serious medical conditions. Some had heart disease, others had diabetes, arthritis, or several illnesses all at once. On paper, many of them looked extremely fragile. Yet they continued living joyful, active lives far longer than anyone expected. I've also cared for people whose medical records looked almost perfect. Physically, they seemed healthy, yet they slowly lost their enthusiasm for life. Their health declined much faster than anyone predicted. Again and again, I noticed the same difference. Those who continued thriving almost always had a reason to keep going. Someone they loved, somewhere they belonged, something waiting for them tomorrow. And this isn't simply my personal observation. Researchers around the world have reached similar conclusions. Long-term loneliness and social isolation affect far more than emotions. They can influence heart health, immune function, mental well-being, and even life expectancy. Human beings were never designed to face life entirely alone. I often think about one gentleman I cared for after he lost his wife of more than 50 years. For a while, I genuinely worried about him. Not only because of his grief, but because he seemed to lose interest in everything. Then, something wonderful happened. Two friends from his church invited him to breakfast every Tuesday morning. Nothing elaborate, just eggs, coffee, conversation, and laughter. Week after week. That simple tradition changed him. His smile returned, his energy improved, his outlook became brighter. Sometimes those breakfasts accomplished more than any prescription I could have written. Now I know this topic touches many hearts. By the time we reach our 70s and 80s, many of us have experienced painful losses. A husband, a wife, brothers, sisters, old friends. The house becomes quieter, the phone rings less often. If that's your situation, please know that your feelings are completely understandable. But I also want you to hear something filled with hope. Purpose can be found again. Friendship can begin again. Connection can be rebuilt, no matter your age, no matter where you're starting. And it doesn't require dramatic changes. Call one person this week. Accept one invitation you've been thinking about declining. Join a local club. Attend a community gathering. Volunteer for an hour. Take a daily walk where you might greet familiar faces. Even caring for a pet, watering a garden, or checking on a neighbor can bring renewed meaning to everyday life. If reaching out feels uncomfortable, begin even smaller. Smile at someone while shopping. Wave to a neighbor. Write a letter. Make a phone call. Exchange a few kind words with the cashier at the grocery store. Just like strengthening muscles, rebuilding connection happens one small step at a time. Purpose isn't something that magically appears. It's something we actively create. Every small effort moves us closer to a fuller life. Never forget this. Your life still matters. Your experience matters. Your kindness matters. And your presence matters to more people than you probably realize. It's never too late to build new friendships, discover new interests, or create new reasons to look forward to tomorrow. Hashtag bringing everything together. Let's quickly review the 7 signs we've explored together. Standing up from a chair without using your hands. Balancing confidently on one leg. Maintaining a strong grip. Walking with steady, comfortable confidence. Getting truly restorative sleep. Keeping your mind curious and engaged. Living with purpose while staying connected to other people. Now ask yourself honestly, how many of these are still strengths in your life? If you recognize yourself in most of them, I want you to feel proud. You're doing an excellent job caring for your body and your mind. Continue protecting those healthy habits. They've served you well. If you discovered several areas that need improvement, please don't leave feeling discouraged. Instead, leave feeling encouraged. Because every one of these 7 abilities can improve. Every single one. You didn't watch this because you've given up. You watched because part of you still wants to stay healthy, still wants to remain independent, still wants to enjoy life for many years to come. And that desire is the perfect place to begin. After all my years as a physician, one lesson has become absolutely clear. Healthy aging isn't reserved for the lucky few. It isn't determined entirely by genetics. It's built through small, consistent choices repeated day after day. Standing up from your chair a few extra times. Practicing balance while brushing your teeth. Opening your own jars. Taking a short daily walk. Protecting your sleep. Learning something new. Calling someone you care about. None of these habits require perfection. None of them depend on your age. They simply require a decision to begin. So tomorrow, don't try to change everything. Choose just one. One small habit. One simple improvement. Then repeat it the next day, and the day after that. Those tiny actions eventually become extraordinary results. If today's conversation encouraged you, I hope you'll continue this journey with me. Subscribe to the channel and join me each week as we explore practical ways to stay healthy, active, and independent through every stage of life. You don't have to walk this path by yourself. We'll continue learning together. And before we finish, let me leave you with one final thought. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait until you feel more motivated. The healthiest older adults I've ever known weren't the ones who waited until everything was perfect. They were the ones who started with one small action today, then another tomorrow, and another the day after that. Those simple choices quietly transformed their lives. Let today become your starting point. Take good care of yourself. Thank you for spending these moments with me. I truly appreciate your time. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon.